Hi Pisces. We are rising at such a rapid rate. It's crazy. This spread is all about a huge rise, a huge expansion of consciousness, a huge difference in understanding when it comes to your mind going beyond normal. Going beyond normal. You have gone through and are going through transformation that is radical. There is a before and after, an understanding of life beyond death. Number 44 is significant. Visions are so vivid right now. You could be closing your eyes and just see spirits, see whichever that is for you, connection with a divine, connection with the light, with higher frequency beings. Visions of life beyond death is massive because it's getting to a true realization. When we talk about, it's not an intellectual understanding, because the mind in itself, the ego mind, cannot fathom the infinite potential of reality. And so when we say truly waking up or realizing, it's a whole being realizing. It's no longer being able to see things the way we used to see things. It's truly going beyond the illusion. And when we say illusion, it doesn't mean that this three-dimensional field reality is not real, but it's just getting to this understanding that it is not permanent, that it's coming and going, that there's no control, that truly we are not this. We're not this. We are this unexplicable infinity. And that has to do with divine wisdom. And this divine wisdom you have been reborn to, or you are being reborn to. Death and rebirth here. Obviously, we are getting closer to this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus on the 8th of November next week, and then a few days later on the 11th it's going to be 11/11 portal, which is amazing when it comes to the shift. It's a very rapid, I don't know if you're feeling that things are going more rapidly, acceleration. Perhaps you are seeing yourself in a different way. You are doing things a different way. You are going beyond the patterns, the routine of how you were doing things or who you were. There is an expansion, meaning that you're no longer blocked by the idea of you and by no intellectual pattern. And that doesn't happen just, like that. We go through deep downs and deep ups, high ups. There's this, and because of this very extreme emotional roller coaster, if we are conscious at this time, there is the potential to truly wake up. So it's beautiful. It's amazing. And we're seeing that here in your cards. I mean, you have past life, present power, the many spiritual faces of you. Perhaps you were, whoever you were in a past life, there is a power within you that is different, that is such more powerful than you thought that you had. You are going towards a sense of tremendous openness that is showing you how exactly powerful you are. and not in the egoic way. It's just waking up to the God within you. And the many spiritual faces of you is talking about how also your work, whatever you do, can take many forms, that there's not just one. And we are called to really, to our purpose, to become creative. When we say creative, means that we go beyond the repetition or the robotic, mechanic way of doing things. And this is happening because of the chariot of ascension, spiritual work of the higher initiate. You have a spiritual work and you're a higher initiate. You're someone who is on this path. If you are on this channel, you have the Queen of Heaven, blessing from the divine Empress of the skies. You are being blessed. You are very close to God. You are, and we always are. But here you could really, perhaps, almost feel it physically. You could suddenly, after a big down, suddenly feel like such lightness where everything just moves by itself. Kind of like, when you go up a mountain and you can't really breathe because the oxygen there's less of it. And so everything is going slower, but it's almost like it's not your body anymore. Your steps are on clouds. It's like walking on clouds. It's kind of that feeling, this flow. And the flow is coming very strongly here. You have let go and flow. Let go and flow. And with this Mars in retrograde, definitely for 2 months, we are called to that, to let go and flow. That doesn't mean that we don't do anything, but it means that we get to an acceptance of how we feel, that we don't do things because we push ourselves, because we have to do those things, but we instead focus on our internal world and how our heart feels, how our energy feels. If we feel that we need to rest, we rest. We accept all of us. And that has to do with follow your own rhythm, Pisces. Follow your own rhythm, not the rhythm of anyone else, not comparing yourself to anyone else. Visions of life beyond death. This is, there's no words to describe this. This is magnificent. When we go through this process of transformation, it's so huge and it's internal. Nobody can really see it around you. But for that, you need to take care of yourself. You need to mother yourself. You have Isis here. Some of you could literally, have a baby or, get into that motherhood energy. But this has to do with mothering yourself. The miracle of life that you are. You have miracles as well coming through. And those miracles come with humor. Humor meaning that, we said to not attach to anything negative, right? But it's also not attaching to anything beautiful that happens in your life. That's another thing. Perhaps more tricky. The temptation is there to, wow, I'm feeling high, and I want to attach to that state. We need to be careful of that because at the end of the day, we truly need to disappear. And that's such a deeper state where it's not feeling good or bad, it's just being. And so that's the trap of the spiritual path. A lot has to do with, sometimes meditation or yoga. We get addicted to that as well, to the comfortable state where we feel. And we have to cut through that. Remember, we had this sword that was very sharp in our last reading. And so this is exactly that. It's going beyond even the ecstasy, beyond the bliss. Right? So that's really deeper. That is something else, Pisces. Now, you also got romantic love. So a lot of you have, all of this, this ascension has been triggered by romantic relationship and by love itself. And by, we just talked about comfort. You got this card again in the subconscious field here, emotional comfort. When we are seeking for that comfort, it seems that it gets further away from us, right? Because we are in this masculine energy, we want it too much, and we're blocking it. So this let go and flow is having an intention, of course, but then it's co-creating with God, it's giving it to God. It's finding this balance where truly the only focus is the high vibration at which you need to be. And that is beyond comfort, because you're no longer here to feel any discomfort or comfort, right? So this is another level, Pisces. And yes, the peace, the tranquility that can be felt when you live from your soul, from your spirit, and all those words are really not enough to describe any of it. But when you are in that level, yes, perhaps you can call that feeling good, but truly that means that you're still there. So we need to go even push ourselves to let go in that way. Completely, even more so. To disappear. And that can be scary, that can be uncomfortable, but when you truly trust in God and you know that you won't disappear, you won't die, you will be here, but you will be serving a higher cause. It won't be your own limitation, your own you. You're going to be more infinite, and you are that already. It's just waking up, realizing that once and for all. And through focus and concentration, but tender focus, right? Soft focus, not masculine, feminine focus, receiving, allowing. Once we allow ourselves to surrender completely, to disappear, then the energy of the divine takes place. Then there is space for the divine. Okay? So you have banquet here for the soul. A lot of abundance is coming through as well. As you step into the soul, into your soul, you break the pattern. You have pattern breaker. We are breaking the pattern. And breaking the pattern of the karma. The karmic cycles. You had the rhythms here. You know, all those cycles are coming to an end. Getting to true compassion. Kuan Yin here is coming through, the goddess of Kuan Yin. True compassion is that where you no longer exist. There's no ego or separation. You become part of everything, everyone, and not in a personal way. You are everywhere. You are everything, and you're nothing at the same time. Right? And that cannot be understood by the mind. Hearing guidance. At this time we are being guided strongly. Listen. You can't listen if you're here. That's a paradox too. You can only listen when you disappear. Make space for the experience itself, for the divine itself to come through. And you will see that you will continue to be able to walk, wake up, talk, do things, but in a very subtle way. You won't be here. It's like being here and not being here at the same time. Right? To you, the earth yields her fruits, buying and selling. So some of you, you know, there's a lot of perhaps economic or financial transactions that could be very beneficial. But this is calling to abundance. Whatever you are sowing is going to grow. And then you have this beautiful card that we had before. Like the ocean is your God's self, it remains forever undefiled. Look at this beauty. And there, Pisces, life unveils her holy face, beauty. There's only beauty, there's only love. But perhaps not the kind that we are used to. It's just another level. The ocean laughs always with the innocent. Laughs, right? We had this humor coming through, this, smiling, laughing is high frequency. It's the frequency of love. When we're too serious, it's contraction, it's ego, it's fear. And so the ocean, once you get out of you, and you see this higher perspective, and so everything becomes more humorous, right? Because you're not so concerned and contracted about your own self, the ego. Once you disappear, there's this lightness of the just life itself, and seeing everything in such a higher perspective that everything becomes just an experience and a beautiful. You're just here to experience life itself. Like the ocean is your God self, it remains forever undefiled. So let's get into that ocean, let's jump into it and become it completely. There we'll find this joy, pure, innocent joy, because we're no longer there. Very paradoxical for the intellectual mind, right? It's another level, Pisces. And I think you know Pisces. This is bringing you to conscious connections here, conscious connections, where you're getting into more consciousness when you connect with people, especially if it has to do with romantic love. No longer so much in the control, you have given up on it. When you feel the emotion, the trigger, you don't believe it. And so you create that space that brings up this pure vibration of true love, of God. Some of you should listen to music, whatever music that means for you, that could really help you get into those states of perhaps joy, dance, for nothing, for nobody, alone, being manifestation of pure life itself. When it comes to this relationship, there's a say yes. So saying yes to love, saying yes to the human love as well, and the relationship. When you become part of the ocean and you are the ocean, then it doesn't matter so much. And so as you are love and you are this lightness, this beauty, then who would not want to be with you? Right? So on this note, Pisces, go beyond normal. Don't be afraid. I love you, and I will see you very soon. Take care.